Now, Senator from Colorado and Democratic presidential candidate Michael Bennet. He's a member of the Senate Intelligence Committee. Senator, welcome back to Politics Nation.
Thanks, Rev. Happy Sunday.
Happy Sunday to you. What are you doing to try to drum up enough support? You're not going to be in the in the November debate.
Yeah.
What is your strategy to try to build up enough support to make the December debate? And why do you think that support has not been realized so far for your candidacy?
I think it's a big field, and I'm certainly not the best-known candidate in the race, and I knew that when I got in. But I think it's really important that we nominate somebody who's won in a purple state. I'm the only candidate who's won 2 national races in a swing state in Colorado. And what I'm continuing to do is talk to the voters in Iowa and New Hampshire. I spent the last 3 days in western Iowa and rural parts of the state, and this week I'm headed to New Hampshire to continue a conversation I started last week when I filed my paperwork. I think the field is completely unconsolidated. The undecideds are up again. Every time they take a poll, more Iowans are undecided than they were in the last poll, and I'm hearing the same thing in New Hampshire as well. So I think it's important to stay in the race as long as I've got something important to say about the direction of the country and the Democratic Party and the need to beat Donald Trump by running on a set of issues that's not just created in a test tube on the east or west coast, but can actually speak to people in the middle of our country. So it's the only way we're going to win.
Is that what you are saying the voters distinguishes you from some of the others, that you are in a middle America state, you won a purple state, and a little subtle shot at the east and the west coast candidates that maybe do not understand middle America, and you feel that you're going to have them if you're going to be successful in defeating a sitting president?
I think it's true. It's not enough just to galvanize the Democratic base. We have to galvanize the Democratic base, but we have to win back some of the 9 million people who voted twice for Barack Obama and once for Donald Trump. And when you look at the national polls that the New York Times had last week, the state polls that the New York Times had last week in the swing states, even while the national polls show our leading candidates beating Donald Trump, those polls show Trump either winning or tied with Joe Biden. And that is very, very concerning to me, because those are the states we lost last time, when we should never have lost to Donald Trump to begin with. So I do think I've got a different set of experiences. It's the reason why my health care proposals, my climate proposals, and my proposal to end childhood poverty in this country aren't things that I came up with to run for president. They're things I've been working on for the last 10 years, and I think could galvanize the voters we need to actually win not just the presidency, but the Senate as well.
Now, you were in New Hampshire earlier this week filing for the primary, and you made this comment about the importance of the impeachment process over and above campaigning. Listen to this.
On the constitutional responsibilities for impeachment, we can't let anything interfere with that either. When I say we, I don't just me. I mean the other candidates that are in this race as well. And so we've got a lot on our hands, but you know what? This is an incredibly important moment in the country's history.
So you're one of 6 senators that are in this race now. Are you saying that you and the other 5 ought to suspend their campaigns if there is a vote for impeachment by the House and there's a trial in the Senate, that all of you should be there? It's more important than your campaigns.
Well, it is more important than our campaigns. None of us should suspend our campaigns, but we are going to have to fulfill our constitutional responsibility. There's nobody else to do it. And I'm very glad that this week the House is beginning the public process that's going to give the American people the chance to weigh the evidence themselves of the abuse of power that President Trump has been engaged in over the last years. And this is an important moment in the country's history, and it's important for us to get it right.
Now, you're in the Senate Intelligence Committee. The House Intelligence Committee is having the public hearings, but I'm sure you'll be paying attention. What is it that you are going to be listening for, and that you would tell viewers that they ought to really be listening for to determine that the president, in fact, is guilty of abuse of power and it is an impeachable act?
Yeah, I think first of all, we're going to listen to see whether the evidence reinforces what the whistleblower alleged. And so far, every single person who's testified, the testimony's come out, has reinforced what the whistleblower said. And by the way, these are not just, anti-Trumpers. These are people. These are Republicans working in the Trump administration who are saying that the phone call was political, the phone call was unseemly. Then the question is it an impeachable offense? And I believe that this is exactly the kind of thing that the founders had in mind when they wrote impeachment into the Constitution. It's not about figuring out whether the president committed a crime or not, although he may have. It's about whether it's a high crime and misdemeanor in the sense that he has committed a political crime. And when you consider a notion that we have a president who tried to get a foreign leader to investigate his political rival, Joe Biden, for his own political benefit, and threatened to hold aid that Ukraine desperately needed to fight back against Russia, it raises a real question whether he should continue as president of the United States. So let's hear what the evidence says, but if it corroborates what we've heard so far, I think it's very likely that he's going to find himself impeached and that it will then come over to the Senate for a vote.
All right, Senator Michael Bennet, thank you for being with us this evening.
Thanks, Rev. Thank you.
Coming up.